restart that way. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to establish the Z offset for our part. Our Z offset is basically telling it how far our workpiece is sticking out of the spindle, and also telling it how our tool knows where the end of this part is. So we got to tell it what all those positions are. So to do that, we're going to manually face down this part and establish a datum surface on the end of the part, and we're going to store that as a work offset in the control. So to do that, we're just basically going to go to our manual mode here. We're going to go to manual setup. We're going to set our RPM. I've got it set at 1,000, which is pretty common, and I've got my jog feed at just 10 inches a minute, which is a nice slow feed rate as I face down this part. So we'll go ahead and turn the spindle on, and then I'm going to hand feed over to the part in order to do this. So I'm going to come over in Z. I'll come down in X now. And as I get down below the edge of the part, I'm going to come over and just touch up in Z until I see it just make a small chip, coming over very slowly. There we see it start cutting. So now I'm going to go out in the X direction, and then I'm going to do 2 clicks, which will be 20 thousandths over in Z, and then I'm going to use the buttons here, which are set to that 10 inches per minute feed rate. So these will let me actually feed down the part. Let's speed this up just a little bit. There we go. We're going to manually feed down the part here, and we're just going to manually face this off. We'll do this much faster in the actual video. That 10 inches a minute's not going very quick there. All right. Feed back out. All right, we'll shut our spindle off here. And we can open our door. So we've cleaned up the surface on the part here. This is our datum surface for our Z offset. So now with our tool 1, which like I said is our Zero Calibration Tool, we'll go into our part setup, and we'll find our offset that we want to store, which we're not doing an X offset, we're doing a Z. And we'll say work offset 1 here. We're going to tell it to store position here for tool 1, and it's going to store that as an inch measurement. So what that's saying is 8.244 is the distance from the face of the spindle back here, and the face of the spindle is behind the chuck. That's the distance from here out to the face of this turret, because we're dealing with the tool sticking out this way and the chuck here. Everything is calibrated, so that distance could be checked just by measuring with a tape measure to verify that. At that point, all of your other tools, you would come in and you would touch off this face by using a touch off device. I use a scale, some people use paper. You would come in and you would set a Z offset for all of those tools, and that's in your tool setup. Geometry offset, you would set a Z offset. Tool 1 stays 0 because that's our calibration tool, but all of the other tools would have a Z offset telling them where that the turret would be for those tools to touch the face in reference to tool 1. And that's how we set Z offsets and the Z work offset.